Cheers guys, I hope you've had a lovely few days, whatever you've been doing. I wanted to hop on here today to share with you some of the items I got for Christmas that are really home focused items. If you're new here, my name's Louisa and I share videos from my Victorian home. All of my videos are very much home focused, and as you probably have already realised, today's will be no different. I have got quite a few different types of home items today, everything ranging from kind of entertaining stuff to home decor, and so I thought that you might like to see some of those things, whether it's inspiration for things that you might want to pick up across 2023 or inspiration for gifts for other kind of home loving people over the next year. I might try and categorize them so that you can kind of get a bit of a feel of the different types and themes of gifts. So I'm going to kick off with something that I think lots of people have. It's not a particularly unique looking gift or what have you, but it is something that I asked for Christmas actually last year, I think, and then I kind of changed my mind because I think there was other things I needed more, but I asked again for it this year and I have got it. I haven't used it yet, so I can't give any kind of review, but yes, I got the Hotel Chocolat Velvetizer. So I am a real coffee drinker, really, and so I don't have hot chocolates all the time, but definitely over like the last year to 2 years, I've definitely become more of a hot chocolate drinker at home, and I have just really loved the look of these in people's kitchens. I really love the idea of kind of the quality of the hot chocolate, which I've heard is really, really great, and the different flavors. And I think you can also use it to help froth your milk. So we've got an espresso machine, but I never really feel like the milk frother that we have for that is really perfect. So I could possibly also use it to kind of froth milk for my coffees as well. So I think I'm going to get a lot of use out of this, particularly around kind of the winter months. I did opt for the copper version because I just think that would look the most beautiful in our kitchen, and then you get two kind of the white ceramic mugs as well with that. So I was very chuffed with that. I got this from James. I also got a couple of cookery items as well. So I got this gorgeous, very festive spatula. This is actually bought from the States. I think it's bought in Vermont, in Stowe, from a shop called, not Bed Bath & Beyond, that's the massive retailer. It's like Stowe Bed Bath & Linens, I think it is. And it's got a stag with very festive kind of holly antlers going on, which is quite sweet for my festive baking. And then I also got this cookbook from my sister, from Jeremy Lee. I believe that it came out this year, as in 2022. And I actually found out about it because Stanley Tucci was recommending it. I think he's friends with Jeremy Lee. And I believe that this cookbook is very much kind of British foods, maybe with a slight twist. So the back says, "Let one of the UK's most treasured chefs, Jeremy Lee, welcome you into the kitchen to rejoice in simple home cooking. Whether for a table set for one or for the descending hordes, here you will find over 150 recipes bursting with ideas for good things to eat." I've not actually taken a look inside this yet, so maybe I should have a quick peek and see what takes my fancy. But I love the cover of it. I think it's a really vibrant, beautiful looking book. Ooh, I love the look of this one. It's tomatoes, lovage and goat's curd. And I think lovage is a very traditional Victorian herb or vegetable of some kind, which is a bit apt that that's the recipe that I've picked out as I flick through. I think this is going to be a very exciting cookbook for me, and I can't wait to kind of have a little bit of more of a detailed look and cook stuff out of here. I think that's something that I really ended up not falling out of love with cooking, because I still really do love it and I still really love making really yummy food and hosting and what have you, but I think I've got out of the habit of cooking some of the things that I would really enjoy, or kind of being a bit more adventurous with my cooking during the week and also at the weekends. and you know, I work from home full time, so really I do have quite a lot of time on my hands to be able to do kind of more in-depth recipes if I wanted to on a weekday night. And yet I actually find myself now doing less than when I used to commute into London. So yeah, it's a bit of a funny one, and I do really miss being a bit more adventurous with kind of my cooking and trying new recipes and what have you. So I am excited to kind of pick up all of my cookbooks, but of course this one as well, to start picking out some new recipes to try. As we've just done kind of kitchen and kind of cooking related items, I think probably the next natural point to move on to is things that I can use for hosting that I got for Christmas. So this next item is honestly something that fills me with so much joy. It has to be, I don't really like to say things are favourite presents because I'm just so grateful for anything that I've got, and I absolutely love all of my presents. So I resent saying favourite present, but it is definitely up there as probably just one of the most fun and funky presents I got this year. And it is this serving platter, and this is absolutely brilliant. This is from a brand called Jim Bob Art, and they do loads of different kind of fun, funky, quirky, comedic kind of animal focused plates and bowls and platters like this one. And actually I stumbled on this with James back only a couple of days before Christmas in Phoenix, and we were really tickled by it because, and I'm probably giving so much away here, but James jokes and sometimes calls me Miss Piggy, or sometimes Piglet. And I love to obviously host, and I love my food so much. And so when we saw this, we were just like, that's so me. James actually got this for me as my £5 to £10 table present, but it was definitely £45, so he cheated massively. But I'm really chuffed. I have already used it. I used this to kind of serve up some of my Boxing Day breakfast to my parents because they were still here. And I had a New Year's Eve day lunchtime thing with my godparents, and I'm definitely going to be using this for that as well. But this is just my absolute like favorite thing. It's just so funny. And then in terms of kind of serving platters and what have you, I also got another item from my mother-in-law as well. So I got this big White Company heart dish. I always think dishes like this and the one before are always so useful, especially around this time of year, but just generally if you enjoy hosting like I do. I really like to put things out in random dishes and what have you. I pick up a lot actually of my dishes from charity shops and their charity shop finds, but it's always nice to get something like this as well. And James is so over me having so many kind of like plates and platters and knick-knacky things like this. Like, he wants to put me on a ban. So I'm really pleased that not only did he buy me something like that this year, but so did other people. So yeah, this is just a really simple dish, but it's really lovely. You can kind of imagine serving a lovely salad in this in the summertime if you're having a barbecue with friends and family and stuff. So yeah, really chuffed with that, and that was from the White Company. Another little fun, entertaining item were these, which don't look like a lot. They're tiny, teeny little pegs. And when I opened them, I was just like, cool. Like, my mum got them for me, and I was just like, literally could not even think why I would be getting these. And then she was like, you know what they're for, right? And I obviously clearly didn't, but they're for cocktails. So you know, if you go to like a fancy bar sometimes and what have you, or a speakeasy, and you get a cocktail, I wonder if I've got the glass that I can use to do this. Anyway, you get a cocktail and they have like maybe a piece of rosemary or a little orange or something that's like clipped to the glass, and they do it with these little mini pegs. And I love a cocktail. I love making cocktails at home. I love the drama of a beautiful cocktail. And as you know, whether it's just me on my own and me making a drink for myself, or whether it's making drinks for others. You know, I like to have a bit of a dramatic effect with things that I do, and so these are going to be perfect for that, and I can't believe that I didn't figure that out when I opened them up. But I thought, what a great little idea. You could put other kind of cocktail related gifts with it, or you could maybe buy one of those boxes of kind of ready garnishes and what have you to use, or you could maybe create your own garnishes to gift somebody with these. But yeah, this is a great idea, and once I figured out what it was for, I mean, it makes total sense. I cannot believe I forgot this gift. It was basically sat in another room, and I realised the next day after I'd finished filming, and my sister gave it to me, and she will not let me live it down if I do not share it with you. And also I wanted to, because it is an amazing gift, and I can't even believe that I didn't pick up on it when I was running through all of my kind of home gifts. But it is this gorgeous Skein Bunny wine bottle holder. As you can see, I've got a trusty bottle of Bollinger there, but I just thought this was absolutely brilliant. I apparently asked for this a couple of years ago, which doesn't surprise me. I just don't necessarily fully recall. But it's from Anthropology, and I just think lovely. I mean, obviously perfect for this time of year, but just brilliant, and it works perfectly on my lovely new but very old Victorian antique sideboard. Now I'm going to move on to, perhaps we'll call this the kind of Victorian house themed gifts. So the first thing, which is a teeny tiny something, and was actually just a really little something that James's mum got me. I don't think it's from the Victorian era. I would just like to add first, but it does have one of the many Victorian buildings here in Tunbridge Wells, where we live, just in case you can't see it here, and it is of the Wellington Hotel in Tunbridge Wells on Mount Ephraim. I assume that she found this in a charity shop, perhaps. It actually is still there. I think it's like a Premier Inn or a travel lodge or something. I think maybe a travel lodge. It probably doesn't look quite as glamorous as it does on this. And I don't know when this will have been from. It might only be like 10 or so years old for all I know. But it says on the back, the Wellington Hotel enjoys a delightful situation on Mount Ephraim and faces south, overlooking the common at Tunbridge Wells. The town, which was at the height of its popularity as a spa in George II's reign, has a, I never know how to say this, a chalybeate spring, I don't think I'm saying that right, famous for its medicinal qualities. The hotel is open all year, featuring the Iron Duke Bar. I wonder if they still have the Iron Duke Bar. I don't know if I'm about to go to a travel lodge to find that out, but yeah, I thought what a sweet little idea. So I think I might use this somewhere, maybe in the living room with like some little sweets on or something like that. But yeah, I'm gonna Victorian theme it because it's of a Victorian building, and it was just, yeah, not something I was expecting to get. And then the other gift, which was absolutely brilliant, I got this from James's sister, and it is the Victorian House book. So this isn't a recent book. She said she thinks this is from the early 1990s, maybe like 1991, but obviously it's not a book that's going to age because it's all about traditional Victorian architecture of townhouses like ours, and also their interiors. So it's not about kind of modern day versions of that. It's about looking at kind of how Victorian houses would have been decorated and what have you. I have already flicked through this a fair bit. I was probably really unsocial because I was really flicking through it when I first got it on Boxing Day, and yeah, it does not disappoint. I'm really excited to get my teeth stuck into this and look at this in a bit more detail, because we are looking to kind of update and refresh our living room. We never really truly finished it. There's lots of kind of the more expensive items that we wanted to do in there, like restoring the fireplace and having better shelves and cupboards built into the alcoves of the fireplace. We've never got curtains in there. We've still got the old plastic horrible rented blinds. A lot of the soft furnishings aren't the right soft furnishings. The coffee table, whilst we don't dislike it, is from the flat and we feel it doesn't really fit in the right way. And so yeah, we're having a bit of a refresh in 2023. And so whilst this obviously focuses on traditional interiors, I'm looking very much to be inspired by this to help kind of plan out exactly what we want to do in there, because I do want it to be a little bit more kind of traditional English interiors. I do want it to be a bit more traditional period property in there. So I think this book is going to be perfect for that. And also, what a great coffee table book in a house like ours as well. So if you own a Victorian home or you know somebody that does, I think this will be a beautiful gift for them. Finishing up the Victorian era, let's move on to some candles, because what Christmas stocking would be without a candle? So I got a couple of different ones. I got this lovely pomegranate candle to go with my Victorian house book from James's sister. This is from a brand called Thomas Street. And it's called number 22 pomegranate, and it's meant to have the scent of pink peppercorns, spicy woods with floral notes and fruity plums. And yeah, it smells lovely. It very much reminds me of the kind of the Jo Malone pomegranate noir ones, so I'm looking forward to burning that. I also got, if you can see behind me here, I'm probably not going to bring it over because it is lit, I got the winter botanical candle from White Company. You will probably know if you've been here before that I love the botanical candles, and I tend to have them on my stairs as part of kind of like my entryway setup. I didn't buy the winter candle this year. I went into the White Company days before Christmas because I just couldn't believe that I hadn't bought it to burn on my stairs as like a welcome when people got here on Christmas Day. And I was just like, I've spent so much money. You know, when you get to that point where it's like, I've overspent on things. I've bought a lot of kind of different decor bits and pieces, you know, Christmas presents, you know, the food and drink for Christmas Day. It just all adds up, doesn't it? And I basically got to the point where I was like, this now feels really frivolous. So I walked away. So I'm so happy to have got it for Christmas instead, because I will burn this right through January and February as well. Absolutely love it. And she also got me, maybe I will pick it up. She also got me, dangerous, the ceramic coaster for it to sit on. So I've actually got one of these already. I bought one because I melted some of the paint on our stairs from underneath the candle. Lesson learned. And so I bought one. They're only about £8, which is, I just pulled the wax down my tights. And that's why you should not be holding a candle like this that's lit when you're doing a video for YouTube. I'll be changing those shortly. Yeah, sorry, it's one of these ceramic coasters. So I've already got one for my stairs, and I definitely have burnt a few candles recently where I'm like, I feel like I don't want it to ruin the paintwork of like chests of drawers and stuff like that, and I could do with some others. So this is going to be really, really handy. Let me just put that back gently after I've thrown wax down my front. I think that was it for candles. Was it? I think it was. I've got a bit of a theme coming on here because I also forgot this candle as well. So this is a Christmas cottage candle. Again, I think my parents got this in the States, and it is notes of orange peel, cinnamon, ginger, cypress, clove, pine and fir. And as soon as I have finished burning some of my other candles, this is going to be the next one that I start burning in the living room. So my final two pieces are pieces of artwork. I have talked about for the last 3 to 4 years, basically ever since we moved into this house, that we are going to do a gallery wall down our stairs, and it's still not happened just because we don't have enough artwork for it yet, really, and I'm a bit nervous to start it without having all of it, if that makes sense, or at least having most of it. A lot of it is, well, some of the bits and pieces are obviously James's bits and pieces, and a lot of my stuff is kind of some prints I have already purchased or been gifted or what have you from family and friends, and some of them are kind of cards or like illustration cards and stuff like that, or little maps and what have you that I have been given from people or I've picked up in stores. And a lot of them are very much kind of New York focused, because New York has a very special place in my heart. I just grew up always wanting to live there at some point, even if it was for just a year. And in 2012, I did that. I went and moved to New York for the year. And in the years following that, I went back quite a bit as well. I've actually now not been back for quite a few years. But it of course still has a really fond place in my heart. I've got lots of amazing memories. And for that reason, I'm just really inspired by different types of kind of like New York artwork and what have you. So about a month or two before Christmas, I had been thinking about how James and I really wanted to actually get going with this gallery wall, and so I wanted to find some other pieces that we could put on it. And so I just randomly Googled, I think, like New York prints or you know, New York artist prints, or you know, something like that. And Lucy, I'm gonna say her name wrong, I don't know if it's Lucy Mahon or Lucy McMahon, let me just check. It is Lucy Mahon, and her Instagram handle is Lucy J Mahon. I'll link her below so that you can take a look. But she basically popped up with a couple of her New York prints. Now, she doesn't just exclusively do New York focused artwork, she does other stuff as well. And actually there were a number of other items that I really loved, but there were two in particular of her New York prints that I just really loved, and I was like, oh my god, I want both. So I basically sent the links to James and said I would really like one of these for Christmas, and maybe if you end up getting me one, you could send the other link to my parents as an idea for them. And I was very lucky to receive both, one from James and one from my parents. So the first one is from James, and he actually got this framed, very typical of James because he really does get himself organised. He said he thought that if he gave it to me unframed, it would never get framed, which I think says everything about me and what he thinks about me. But this is the first one. I'm just going to bring it a little bit closer. You've got a bit of reflection, but hopefully you can see. So Sundays in Brooklyn, this just meant so much to me because I did go to Brooklyn, you know, a fair bit. It was typically on Sundays, and this one just reminded me of going with my friend Mahini and us going maybe to certain parties or what have you, and then getting pizza on the way home. And so yeah, I just thought it was brilliant with the balloons and the pizzas. I think what I love about her as an artist is that they're all very much, particularly of this particular thing, they're very much like crayon drawings, like almost like a bit kiddie, I guess. And there's something that I was just really drawn to, and I think you know what you like, right? Not everybody is gonna like the same things, and this won't be to everybody's taste, but I really love it. And yeah, as I said, there were a couple of others that weren't New York focused that I would happily get as well, and I probably will over time. And then from my parents, this is actually the same size print. It just looks bigger because that one's framed and it's got kind of the outer bit around it as well. I'm not going to take the paper off, or am I? Am I? I don't know, I'm a bit nervous. I fine, I'll take it out. You convinced me. I hope I don't get wax on this. So this is the other print that I got. Deja Vu of Breakfast in New York. And again, this one really spoke to me because it has that, God, I'm really nervous about ruining this. It has, if you can see, that blue cup, which is the blue paper cup that has like, it's like almost got a Greek style design on it, and they're really synonymous with New York kind of coffee carts on the street. And if you watch Sex and City, I'm really nervous, I can't put this away whilst I'm talking to you at the same time. This is like an absolute recipe for disaster. They're really synonymous, as I said, with New York coffee carts. And if you watch Sex and City, you'll see Carrie Bradshaw like walking around sometimes with them. And so for me, that like meant you lived in New York. And so it was on my bucket list. It was such a stupid thing to have on my bucket list, but it was on my bucket list to do when I lived in New York. And do you know what? I never did it. I never did it, which I thought was really funny. But a friend of mine, Hayley, who I was in New York with, she bought me like a China ceramic version of those cups to have at home. So that's why it means so much to me, because I love brunch. I used to love New York brunches and breakfasts and what have you, but also specifically because of those cups. So that's why it really, really spoke to me. And yeah, I absolutely love it. I can't wait to get this one framed as well. And I'm gonna find out how they're gonna work within kind of the wider gallery wall. But yeah, that is all of the bits and pieces I got for the home or to use within my home. Oh no, I have forgotten something. I don't know how. So I've got 2 other items. I don't know, maybe these are themeless items. One themeless item is just this big jar of matches. I love stuff like this. I really love kind of dramatic, beautiful ways to display things and what have you. So anything like this is, you know, something I love. And then the other thing I got, which was something I asked for last year and I just didn't end up getting it, and so I asked again for it this year, is Hill House Living book, The Art of Creating a Joyful Life. I follow Paula from Hill House Living on Instagram, as does so many people, I'm sure. And she brought out a book about a year or so ago now, and maybe I wanted it for my birthday. Maybe she brought it out this year, I don't know. But yeah, I really, really love the idea of this. I love her interior style, and yeah, I just love her whole kind of like personal brand, as it were. But on the back it says, "A happy home is everything. Like many people, Paula gave years of her life to the busy nature of city living until she traded catwalks for dog walks and couture for manure after leaving her fashion magazine job a decade ago. This book is inspired by Paula's love of all things vintage and filled with simple, stylish and thrifty tips and tricks to bring the delight of country life into your home wherever you are. In a world that often moves too fast, Hill House Living is an invitation to take a moment to style, make or cook something beautiful. Slow down, cozy up and make each day more joyful," which is very much what I'm all about, and yeah, absolutely love it. Anyway, that is now absolutely everything. I hope you enjoyed seeing all the different bits and pieces I've got for my home for Christmas this year. I hope you've had a lovely couple of days, whether you celebrate or not, and whatever you're up to or doing, and I hope that you get a bit of a restful break over this period, because I know that I definitely needed that. I had very much run out of steam and I had end of year-itis by the time I took my break for Christmas, and so yeah, really excited to kind of just rejuvenate to get going for 2023. If I don't see you before the new year, please don't spill this over your print, Louisa. Happy New Year, and yeah, I'll see more of you in 2023. Bye guys. Mwah.